one of the things that your research has indicated to you is that the kinds of peak experiences reported by psychologists such as Abraham Maslow, or the mystical experiences reported in the Perennial philosophy, is documented, say, by Aldous Huxley or Houston Smith, that these experiences are also akin to the LSD experience, to the holotropic experience.
Yes, you see, actually from the beginning it was clear that one of the powerful experiences in the spectrum of the psychedelic phenomena are experiences that have all the features of mystical experiences. And from the beginning there has been a kind of debate, you know, what does it mean? And it very soon sort of crystallized into three camps. The first camps were the sort of ultra-materialistic scientists who were saying, well, this basically explains mysticism. You know, what the mystics experience as authentic insights into nature of reality is nothing else but sort of chemical aberration of the brain. So we'll be able to reduce somehow mysticism to body mechanisms, to brain chemistry, to brain physiology. The second group was saying, no, what this actually means is that there is a significant group of chemicals that can induce mystical experiences, which means these are not ordinary substances, they are sacred substances, they are sacraments. So they took the position of the shamans from psychedelic cultures. The shamans, of course, don't have pure alkaloids, but they have plants, so they talk about special plants, you know, flesh of the gods, sacred visionary plants. And then there was a third group that was saying, well, phenomenologically we cannot distinguish the instant mysticism from genuine mysticism, but these experiences induced by psychedelic substances are not really true or genuine experiences. For mystical experiences to be genuine, they have to come as a result of discipline, of practice, or they come as grace. But there's no way we can sort of decide to have a mystical experience and enforce it in a sense. People like Meher Baba or the Boston scholar Zener, you know, they talked in that direction.
And have you developed an opinion of your own about this?
For me, my own psychedelic experiences and also the experiences I've seen in other people, you know, had all the characteristics of genuine mystical experience. I wouldn't be able to make a distinction.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to interview Houston Smith, the great religious scholar, on this exact question, and he argued that while you couldn't distinguish the experiences, you could make a distinction between the lifestyles of mystics as opposed to the lifestyles of people who were habitually
you know, not necessarily.
drugs.
I have seen both. I have seen people who have really taken the psychedelic experiences very seriously, and it was definitely a spiritual path for them. And they experienced them in the right context with the right set and setting, and they did a lot of reading and even additional spiritual discipline. People like Ramdas, for example. And I have also seen people who have done it very casually, you know, the raves being the extreme example.
Your breath work was developed, I suppose, as the laws changed and the LSD psychotherapy and LSD research became more and more difficult. You developed the holotropic breathing method as an alternative.
Yes, Christina and I developed it at Esalen, where it, you know, was not possible to continue psychedelic research because Esalen was too controversial for that.
And now you have had a history with the psychedelic experience, with the holotropic breath work of having helped to guide, to mediate thousands of these holotropic experiences. And what you're suggesting, as I understand it, is that the experience itself is a window into the depths of the human mind.
Yes, very much so. I should mention there was also a third source of data bringing very, very similar kinds of information, which was work with people who had spontaneous mystical experiences and difficulties with them. And, you know, these days people are diagnosed usually as psychotic, but as a result of our observations and experiences, we came to the conclusion that these are actually crises of spiritual opening or psychospiritual transpersonal crisis. We call them spiritual emergencies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, to get more into the heart of your book, The Cosmic Game, one of the intriguing points that you've made is that through the holotropic experience, however it's induced, a certain worldview develops, a way of looking at the world complete with a whole metaphysical ideology, and is very different from the typical ego-paced, materialistic worldview of the workaday world.
Yes, you know, in 1969 I became very interested in looking at these mystical experiences that people had in psychedelic sessions. And so I studied, you know, thousands of records, looking specifically at those periods of the sessions where people were looking at some ontological or cosmological issues. You know, who are we? What is our nature? What is the nature of reality? Is this universe just a mechanical system, or is it permeated by superior intelligence? And is it created by superior intelligence? What is the nature of time? What is the nature of space, and so on? Mm-hmm. And I was absolutely astounded to find out that these people didn't create some kind of idiosyncratic distortions of the worldview that we have in the Western industrial civilization, but that there was a far-reaching agreement on some of the basic ontological and cosmological issues, that there was actually a very comprehensive worldview emerging out of these non-ordinary states, which was radically different from the one that we have in you know, our civilization. And so I wrote at the time a paper which was called LSD and the Cosmic Game, Outline of Psychedelic Ontology and Cosmology. Yeah. This was 1969. And then later, particularly when we started working more with people in spiritual emergency and then in the breathwork, it became clear that this was not a world of psychedelic subjects, but that it's a message that is coming through holotropic experiences of various kinds. So now when I finally wrote the book, The Cosmic Game, it's not just about psychedelics, but it's about holotropic states, you know, in general. And what was tremendously interesting for me is that there was great overlapping between the vision that emerged out of these states and the kind of perspective that you find in different systems of perennial philosophy.